completely. I don't wanna let you know about me. There's never been much to see. I'm so plain, playing games for fun. I'm upset.
What the fuck was that music? Ugh. I hope that doesn't happen again. Maybe I just go back to the old playlist that demonetizes my channel all the time. Because even this music's kind of gay. One day I'll find a playlist that's actually half decent and is copyright free, but I have no idea. Everything that's copyright free is just shit. Anyway, we may as well begin. So I'm just gonna put on this screen and get myself some water. Good morning, everybody. Let's turn the music down a little bit. That should do it. Okie dokie, who do we have in here today? Whimsy Trades, welcome. April's White, welcome. Yes, remember the YouTube algo loves more messages in the live chat. So if you are here, please interact. That rhymes. Yufuk, hello, welcome. Al, welcome. Very strange. BTC weak and alt strong doesn't bring back good memories. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what Bitcoin decides to do next, really, doesn't it? That is the big question. It could be good memories. It may end up being good memories. It may end up being bad memories this time around. J Shroom, what's up, G's? Whimsy Trades, what does it mean? Yeah, that music was terrible. Every time I try and find like I just search for like non-copyright streaming music, blah blah blah, and I'm yet to find anything. It's either shit music, like really really bad, like the last playlist was, or it isn't in fact non-copyright, and then as soon as I start streaming, it's like strike. Oh, for God's sake! So it just then does the copyright strike on my channel, and then that kills the reach for it. So I've got to find something that A, doesn't give me a copyright strike on the channel, and B, isn't completely awful, or we just talk in silence. So one day I'll find one. One day. Elena, welcome. Our German government sending BTC to CEX at the bottom. Feels like this was pre-capitulation rally. I've not seen anything about the German government sending Bitcoin to the centralized exchange at the bottom, but look, come on, it's what, $3 billion? Who cares? I just capitulated Beam, such a shitcoin, yeah. Jam Beam, morning. Cadmiri, let's pump it. Kalechi, what's up? Bloom Raincoat, 40k coming, Luke, and you were laughing last stream. 40k isn't coming. I'm still going to keep laughing at that. Yeah, I mean, look, we'll go over some possibilities for sure. We will do that. Could make pre-recorded your own rap intros, Casper style. I'd rather not. But maybe. No. Let's just no. Actually, do you have an Arculus cold storage? Yeah. I don't really use it. Where is mine? I've got one lying around somewhere. Oh, I've lost it. That's not helpful. I've lost my cold storage wallet. When I got the thing, they gave me like coasters as well. Wow. I'm hoping you're not going to tell me something really bad, because I don't really check on it. I don't have much stored on that cold storage wallet. Like barely anything. So I'm hoping you're not asking me if I've got one because they've been hacked and I've lost all my money or something like that. Yeah, it's pretty good. Thinking of opening at long, 59,500, but after yesterday's stops, I don't know, maybe lower. Yeah, okay, we'll go over the Bitcoin chart in just a second. Let's turn down this music slightly. Saw you following the WooX, yeah. Yeah, I got some free swag. It was back at the Bitcoin conference last year. And we never hit that daily on Coinbase. Get a few charts. bullish argument here. Can we go 886 to 886 for a butterfly? I was doing this as the 786 yesterday. I posted this. Harmonics. Which harmonics will allow for an 886 to 886? Nothing. Oh, that's invalidated too. Damn. Harmonic ideas are all invalidated too. Get rid of that. Nasty. ETH BTC. Good. So, oh my god, look at the NASDAQ. Swept Asia lows, bounce. Swept previous day lows, bounce. Why do I always miss it? I always miss them. You say top of that butterfly is around the, yeah, well it would be around the 1.618, but it would have to be 84, but we've gone to the 886. I mean, from a close perspective, you're still fine. If you take counter closes, you're fine. You got to allow for some leeway. It's still a butterfly, and we're very, very close to the 76. There we go. We'll keep it there. It hasn't actually been invalidated. All is well with that idea. Bitcoin looking a bit weak this morning. It's got a hold here. Otherwise it starts looking really bad again. Our plan today is to short 62 or long 59, whichever comes first. I could agree with that. Is there anything else that I want to discuss? So if we go just before I press record on this video. It's not looking great this morning again. It really isn't. See how it gets on, but it's got to hold this monthly. Yikes. Nice daily level bounce. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna mark. Let's put this back on here on spot. I know Coinbase didn't hit it. Let's mark it there. Okay, right. I think I can do a video. I think I'm all good. And we can get the video done. And then we'll have a general discussion again. So anyway, before we start with that, we have 70 people here in YouTube. And how many people here on X? Hello, everybody that's watching on X. 122. So very, very nice. X chat. Let's see if I can bring the chat on X up as well. So if you are here on X, then say hi. And please hit the like button on both platforms. Repost, retweet if you're on X. Comment in the chat if you are on X. I do have the chat box open for that too. And if you are on YouTube, let's smash that like button, everybody. Let's come on. 67 people in here, sorry. Bare minimum is 50 likes. Bare minimum. Bull minimum is 60 likes. And then we shall begin. I'm gonna make sure I got my charts right. 42069. It is it's a scary possibility, right? I still don't believe that's where we're at, but certain ideas, certain bullish ideas have been brutally invalidated, and we have to accept that that is the case. What's this SLN? Certain other ideas have well, they still remain okay for now, but yeah, I feel I need another Bitcoin chart open on here. Ran out of teenagers to dump on. Yes. That's that. Hold the line time. I don't want to see Monday Low lost. No, no, no. If Monday Low gets lost, oh, we are in big trouble. Like Monday, that should be the low. It really, really should be at this stage. Yeah. Let's not see Monday Low lost. I mean, if it okay, you can lose it. You can just tap that daily level on spot. Bounce. All right, little SFP off of it. Fair enough. But lost is bad. Okay, we're still only at 26 likes. Are you guys deaf or something? Why are you not listening? Why are you not hitting the like button? Why don't you like it? And why is no one chatting that's watching on X? Oh well, okay, right. Let's go with the video. I'm gonna stop the music because it's too much. And we'll press record. I'm gonna, as soon as I do this, I'm gonna sneeze because I got hay fever. So I should probably just, I can't concentrate when I got hay fever. It's horrible. Need tissue. This is why we've been dumping, because I keep sneezing. It's an ambulance outside. Right, I'm distracted. No, it's an ambulance. Ambulance is here for Bitcoin. We've got to resuscitate it. Right. Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's video, Tuesday, the 25th of June, 2024. Bitcoin is looking really bad today after the drop that we had yesterday. It's not all doom and gloom. Like, altcoins have stayed strong. We are at some good support, but the bullish plan, the bullish idea that we had of holding the impulsive structure that we had to the upside has very, very clearly been invalidated at this stage. So where are we right now? On the good news, okay, the good side of things is that we are still trading within this range, and that can continue. And as long as we're holding the lows, then there is the possibility of putting in another higher low here and getting that continuation higher. Remember, we haven't actually come and taken the highs from the top of this range. And if we look at this as a range as a whole, then essentially we are holding still within this after getting that deviation at the bottom. And even if you draw this back here to this initial low when we essentially came into it, you swipe lows, come up towards the highs, there's your deviation, support, support, support. This still here is acting as support. So this 60k even zone is really important support for now, and holding at this stage this higher low. Now, the invalidation that we had yesterday, and this had been my main plan essentially, was that we had created an impulse, a very clear impulse off of this low, okay, and then we were getting a corrective move back down. And for all of this, it was pretty much corrective, but what it was unable to do throughout the entire downtrend that we've had is get a single flip of resistance back into support. So every time you lost a level, it would just back test it and drop again, back test it, drop again, back test it, drop again. And there was just zero sign of strength throughout this whole move. And I think what really triggered the capitulation here was that Sunday close. Now, there was the opportunity for this to hold. And the move that we had down on Friday with that recovery, this could have just played out being that like slower kind of chop that we have breaking out this trend, getting a move up. I still considered this to be a range and was looking for these like low 62 to 64k area anyway. But as soon as we had that close on Sunday, it almost invalidated any of this bullish idea at that point anyway. You close below that Friday low. It was a sign of weakness. You open essentially having cleared this whole gap here. Like, okay, you tapped into the bottom of it, but what you don't want to do, this is the same with any impulse, you don't want to see these deep retraces because as soon as you see these deep retraces, they simply don't work. So once we'd gone beyond that 50%, if I put the 50% on here, and once we'd had that real acceptance back below the 50% mark of this entire like impulse up higher, okay, you can say that Friday was clinging on at that stage and Saturday was clinging on. As soon as you had that confirmation below, we get that drop to essentially take out the lows, which has now invalidated this. So we've had these two impulses, and both of those now for long positions taken off of these are no longer valid. So that's the first thing. There is, I mean, I'm not saying it's all over yet and we're going to be dropping lower. Basically, everything changes very, very quickly within this whole market. And I think it was like we had that big Tuesday capitulation with a lot of altcoins. And I think that was really a sign that things were incredibly starting to get very bearish with the chart overall. None of these little pumps that we were able to have back a couple of weeks ago through FOMC, CPI, for example, were able to sustain and to hold and kept making lower lows. And I started to flip very, very bearish at that point. You obviously see here, you lose the point of control, you back test it as resistance lower down, your back testing level was got the 4-hour chart. It is just very, very clear the downtrend we've been in. And it did reach a pretty decent peak yesterday with some high volume. So these slow grinds down just being very difficult to trade, because what they do is get people trapped into those long positions, unable to get even a take profit off of these a lot of the time because they don't take highs. And we're seeing another situation today where if you're long, you may not even have hit take profit yet, because the take profit level is a little bit above where we've already been this morning. And yeah, just continuing this big move down. So going back over onto the support that we have here, anchored VWAP from the year. So this is your yearly VWAP acting as support. It acted as support once. We are testing it for a second time. It's not ideal. Like when you're testing these levels, usually you go, okay, you hit it once and then you go. And then to be hitting this anchor VWAP twice in such a short period of time, I'm not saying that that's particularly strong. But in the same time, we have tested this 72K high 4 times already. So both support getting weaker with each test, resistance getting weaker with each test. And I think still we are looking at that overall idea that we have this long, slow summer, which I keep repeating, where we just start to coil up and hold within this range until an eventual break later in the year. So something along these lines is probably the idea that I'm mainly looking at now for the macro. So just continue with this range, not feeling incredibly bearish. We still are able to look for longs because we are at range lows. The invalidation for that will be losing this 56,500. Yeah. So if you're looking for longs, your invalidation is here. If looking for longs more locally, there is an opportunity, I'd say, as long as you're holding daily open. And this monthly level is quite a nice level, as that held once. We've obviously come down and swept these internal lows and now are holding above that monthly level. That's a good area in which to look for longs with the previous day low as your invalidation. So there's a couple of possibilities here, but I'm not really the risk to reward on a trade here, unless you're looking for a move back up into the POC, which is certainly possible. But I think at this stage, we'd have to be happy even if we get that move back towards 64. So you've got a trade here, but I'd say for holding longs right now, it's not the best risk to reward because of how deep we went yesterday. And also, if it does start to come down below that daily open again here, okay, it may increase the reward that you're possibly going to get out of the risk, but it does lower the probability. I'd say we really do need to be holding this daily open at this stage and holding this monthly if we are going to see this continued recovery and a bit more of a V shape, because until we see this, okay, we're nowhere near bullish again until we see some significant strength. So once again, it is another bounce, but every time we've had one of these bounces, they have been retraced, and we have to be aware of that until we start to change market structure, which is a long way away. Now, if we go back over here, some other things that are, I guess, fairly positive overall. This is the first time we've entered into oversold on the RSI for almost a year. So it was August 2023. It was the last time that Bitcoin was oversold on the daily RSI. So if we look at how low we've gone, we had that read yesterday around about 25. There's been very few occasions where we've been down this low, and on every single occasion where we have gone this low, right, it has resulted in a recovery. So we can mark these off and we can look at, so there was November 2022. Okay. There we go. November 2022. Lows, I mean, they got like a little SFP on some exchanges afterwards, but overall had a decent recovery. You go back to June 2022, oversold over here, and you had a really decent recovery. So this was obviously the low, the FTX low over here, right? Bounce, you never went back to it. Low over here, You swept it a couple of weeks later, but ultimately big recovery. And this is the first time that we've been seeing that for almost a year. The other thing that we have here is the divergence against, let's just increase. Oh, what am I doing? There we go. There we go. We have the higher low with price and the lower low on the RSI, which is starting to create those bullish divergences. But again, it's not really something that you can use to take trade ideas off of. But with the divergence there confirmed, okay, you can now look for longs with the invalidation of basically you cannot get a daily close below 60,260. If you're looking for longs and you're playing the divergence, as long as you are getting daily closes above this level, this daily level right here, then you're fine. As soon as you close below it, that idea is invalidated and you look for lower levels. So information there in order to take some trades with these hidden divergences. I don't like the word hidden divergence because they're not hidden. It's plainly obvious and it's still a divergence. It's just the opposite of what you usually see. I actually often prefer these, right? Because the thing is, when you have a divergence on the, let's say the RSI, for example, and the RSI is making these higher lows, where maybe we have an example of it, or you've got an example of it from these highs here, yeah. You don't really know how, you don't really have an invalidation for a trade based off of that. But if you are getting these divergences where there's the flip side of that, where you have the low here, the higher low here, then you have a price invalidation. Okay, so the RSI can remain down here, but you have a price invalidation. You knowing that a daily close below that level would invalidate this idea, and you would have to get out of that trade. So it's pretty decent. RSI is one of those that if you can trade it correctly and just be sensible with it, it does give some really nice information. Now, we also went like really, really, really mad here on the 4-hour RSI, but I'm not going to do anything more than that. On the weekly, right, we have this trend line that has been around since, once again, we're looking back at these same levels since that June 2022 that continued through the FTX crash in November 2022, that continued through the big like corrective period that we had last summer, similar to what we're seeing now, and is continuing right now as well. So if we're looking at the trend line from here, you can see that, okay, currently we're trading beneath. So if we draw this either from this low, okay, you get the idea. RSI trend line. Where we've started our week is literally right on this. So you can see the slight change of angle here. So if we close this week green, then this trend line remains intact. If we don't close this week green, then it's likely that we've lost this. And you start to look at, okay, if there were any trades based off of that idea with the higher time frame, the weekly time frame there, then that would start to invalidate any bullish ideas on the weekly. And then you've got to start looking a little bit lower once again. So if bullish ideas are started to get invalidated on the weekly, what I would say from that is you don't really want to see. I mean, it's okay here. All right, we've had 3 down weeks. We could be putting in a wick here. But if we do get closes, once again, below that 60K level on the weekly, then I do think that sets us up for a move down to 52, which is the next area of major volume that we have on the chart. I believe also, if we look at our moving averages, we should have the 50-week. There we go. So we do have that 50-week EMA coming in, which has acted as bull market support previously. Okay, on quite a few occasions. So an important level to hold if there is to be further weakness here, we would be looking at 52 as the next level. And then I've seen a few things in the chat asking about 40K. Is that on the cards? You'd have to say you would very, very likely see a bounce at 52. But then you'd have to be looking at, okay, this range is lost. You'll be looking at a bounce back into 60, confirming as resistance again. And that could then lead you down to that 42K afterwards. And essentially at that stage, we're basically repeating what happened on previous cycles. So I find it very, very unlikely, first of all, that we're going to repeat the same highs and the same lows, because essentially we did make the same highs, all right? It was 69K previously. It was 72. Yeah, I know we wicked to 74, but realistically, okay, 72K is the where we've accepted, like accepting that is a top right now, and has been butting into that as resistance for quite some time. So if we're going to do this same thing of just 69, 70K to 42K again, it just seems improbable, but not impossible, I guess. We'll go back down here. I'm kind of like flipping all over the place. I should have started with the weekly and then gone down to the daily and done all of that. But hey, that's what happens when I record a video in the middle of a stream. I just roll it off. So whatever. Is there anything else on the daily that we need to discuss? There's not, is there? There's not anything else on the daily. 200 EMA is just below price here. And if you're looking at the 200 EMA on perps, we've already hit it. So if we go over, I believe, on make this the 200 over here, then on some perps we've already tapped into that 200 EMA on that is on that daily level. So another possibility here, we do have a harmonic that could start to play out. So we are looking at this, what would be a bearish butterfly, okay, because the D is the final leg, and then you'd be looking for a 50% retrace of this leg afterwards. So you have a bearish butterfly playing out, but that does mean that it's bullish for the time being, at least until we get to like 84K right now. So essentially what we've been looking at here is we had the X2A, we had an 886 retrace. We're in that like 786 to 886 retrace here that has tapped into this daily level, and then we would be looking for an extension to the 1.618 that takes us to around about 84K. So if we do reverse from here, and if we do start to change this market structure, and we're looking at a decent move up, I think that it's going to take quite a long time. I don't really like, yes, this could be the low, but we may end up like extending this a long way up until like later in the year before we get to that stage. But it's there as an idea. Okay, it is valid. 84 to 86K would be the target for this. And then what you would be looking at further down the line is then to retrace this, which would actually be like really, really perfect if this was to happen. Let's say we go to 84, 85, 86. Okay, you would be then looking for the 50% retrace, which would take you in to do a bullish backtest of the range that we've currently put in, which is very, very similar to what happened in the last bull market, right? We go back to 2021, where we had this long drawn out range that happened after the halving. Okay, you created this same kind of harmonic thing within this range. You got the extension towards that 1.618. You then came back in to test it, wiping out a lot of leverage and greed once again, and then you go for this run afterwards. So I'm still looking at this as being a possibility where we can hold within this range. As long as these lows are holding, then this is still valid. All right, we do have these ideas that are still valid to take us towards higher prices. Then we get that back test, and then we go again a little bit later on in the year. I should do some stuff on the lower time frames. What we have to say on this is a chart that I was sharing with the crew yesterday. So as we were getting this move down, well, once we got into kind of the end of the day here, and we'd seen this move, and price was just starting to recover these lows yesterday evening, we could see that there have been a series of these gaps, a series of impulses on the way down. So similar, right, to what we'd seen with these two impulses up here. Now, as long as these were holding, then that leads you to be looking for higher prices, but you play it level to level. So once we lost this impulse higher, right, which you could say essentially happened on that Tuesday the 11th, the big like alt capitulation day. We then were looking for the next level down, which was down here. Okay, and when we essentially invalidated that on Sunday. And then you look for the next level down again, which is coming back into this area here. We've been doing that on the lower time frames as well, where we've created this impulse, range, impulse down, range, impulse down, range, impulse down, range, impulse down, and we were just continuing that and continuing that and continuing that yesterday. Now, as soon as that flipped, okay, you can the first time that we flipped any of these gaps into some support, you started to come through and clear up some of the ones that we had above. Now we tapped into what we can consider as the main resistance right now. So if we just remove all of this stuff from the chart, remove all these little internal levels, essentially we're left with something that looks like this, where you have support that has been, well, impulse down, which got flipped. So it was acting as support. You lose it, you immediately reverse. You're looking for the liquidity above. Now, we haven't taken the liquidity up here, but we have come back into where this gap was. And that is why, quite clearly, we are seeing a bit of a rejection from this so far this morning. Now, what you want to be seeing is this structure that we formed on this move up. So ideally, what we want to be seeing is this kind of area here holding and starting to get a move back up here, which can take out this 61,750. And then possibly we get a more corrective move of that, and we continue on from there. But when you look at things, I think the lower time frames are just a little bit sketchy at this stage. The high time frame levels are working well. So of course we have the daily level that marked this impulse up, okay, which prices come back into test this morning and has so far rejected. We have the monthly level that was acting as support throughout May that we lost briefly, okay, got that close below, but have reclaimed and are currently just right on that level right now. So if we can see these high time frame levels working really, really well here, where you had the move up into that daily level, which had been the start of the previous impulse higher. So is that now resistance? You'd have to say yes, so far it is, but we are holding this monthly. So essentially, we are kind of looking at a range between these levels here. If you can get back above this daily level, then you have a bit of clear space above. Now this could just end up in a sweep of liquidity and then reject again. All right, or you could start to run on that liquidity. So whether you're just looking at that being like a sweep of liquidity here, or if you start to then run on that liquidity, then we can be looking at a recovery that takes us up towards that 62,750 area afterwards. So some trades to be had. Often after these really aggressive moves, you have just a very nice trading environment, a very calm trading environment, and we have actually seen that so far today. So from the lower time frames, okay, this is stuff again that we talk about and we teach within the crew all the time. You had on daily open a little bit of a spike below just to take out some slight liquidity, right? Okay, you just have that swipe below on the open. Yeah, you then reclaim it, you're back testing that, and then you have this VWAP offering it as support until you reach a nice climax in price there. And you can see now we're just trading around that VWAP once again, and this probably soon will turn into the daily point of control, and then you can start to look from there. So yeah, looking at this little range forming locally here for BTC. Oh, there's quite a lot to talk about today. If we draw the TPO and we have a look at this. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to TPO this up right now. There we go. So Yeah. Right. What we had down here was an NPOC, right? That I was not expecting price to come back for. I will be perfectly honest, but we did have a naked point of control down here at 59,365. Yep. That was the only one that was on this chart from lower. If you look at, obviously we had the move through this one at a 61,900, 62k essentially, but this 59,365, 59,350 NPOC has now been hit, which has cleared up everything within the range. There is no longer any imbalance here, right? You have a low that I wouldn't consider it the best low in the world. It could still get taken out, right? You had poor lows as well on this daily. So if I can draw that from here, these were poor lows. And we just extend this across and make that like liquidity. That's the way I like to draw it. So poor lows at 58,800. I'm going to make that 800 because it'll mess with my OCD. Because it basically is there, right? It's give or take $1 or $2. MPOC here being as 59,365, and then everything else is pretty chill throughout this. You had these single prints, right? 60,400, but of course that's above where we went, so that was cleaned up yesterday as well. So then we look over to this on the TPO, and what happened? You cleaned up the MPOC, clean up the poor low, put in a decent low on the day here, right? And this was also, interestingly enough, the only naked value area low even on the chart. Was it? No, why is this here? Oh, that's the open. That's the open. My bad. Okay, so you have everything. You have the daily level cleaned up, you have the poor lows cleaned up, you have the MPOC cleaned up. Now we can start maybe looking at what's above. Okay, price so far, point of control from yesterday, sorted. NPOC here 64,300. And again, because the move down was so calm for such a long time and we kept getting these bounces, the only one that we really have above, the only area of major imbalance that we really have above is all the way up here at 71,200. Now, the other thing that there are poor highs over the weekend. So I don't like this when it's on this. Hopefully this will load because it's just too big, the TPO. There are these poor highs from the weekend. So if we're looking at imbalance that is above price right now, you're looking all the way up to 71,200. First of all, for the first like volume imbalance, NPOC big volume area that we've really got that hasn't been back tested already. But then you have very, very clear 2 days in a row poor highs from the weekend. Yeah, then it really is taking you all the way up to 71,200 after that. So that has, I guess, essentially explained just about everything within this whole range. When you put this together as two composites, okay, you've got this lower range, this upper range. Of course, for a while we were holding this upper range, everything was looking okay. But as soon as you start to accumulate time outside of value, which is what we very, very obviously had, then you have to start to flip bearish. We had the move that basically tested the range POC, that lower range POC, moving all the way down through that value area low, and now holding that value area low. Whew, we're still going. We've spent half an hour. I would now like to just quickly look at the let's have a quick look on the rest of the web stuff that I have, because I really don't think there's anything more to say from a price action perspective, looking at these charts. So looking at the order flow in general, yesterday ETFs, outflows, obviously, but it wasn't that extreme. Okay, so there's not like, we're not seeing massive aggression, massive like exit from the ETFs here. It wasn't too bad, to be honest. We're likely that we see maybe a bit more outflows again today, because in fact the actual price of Bitcoin dropped to such an extent, with it being such a capitulation, that there ended up being a bit of a premium on the ETFs. So some arbitrage opportunities there. If you sell the ETF by spot, you're making a bit of money. So we may see a bit more outflows today if that premium between the ETF and the net asset value remains. So when we've had this previously on these big drops, these big like ETF dump days, it's created an arbitrage opportunity for people to buy the ETF and then sell the spot, buy the ETF, and this time it's the opposite way around. CVD, we're really not going to be looking at anything too interesting here. Clearly yesterday was a mass capitulation for Bitcoin. Okay, it was pretty crazy, probably the most bearish day we've had in a year or so. We see that continuing in today, and I think this will probably, we'll look at the open interest in just a second. This is nice, we are getting that bounce off for the monthly, but I think we'll see this with the open interest having, I would imagine, not dropped too much, but just probably just gradually floating down slightly right now. But we see spot has been holding up again. Perps still bullish CVD, but it's just been the case throughout this whole move that we just get bullish CVD with every low, and it just ends up leading eventually. So there's not really too much, we can't really draw any conclusions into that. However, we are seeing that spot is leading a little bit of this move, suggesting that at the very least the selling aggression from the spot markets that we saw yesterday has started to slow down, and a lot of this like bullish CVD that is starting here is mainly just a case of people selling positions that are underwater at this stage, like, because okay, we've had a bounce, I just want to get out because I'm so underwater. Then we have a look over here. Yeah, we look at the open interest, and it is kind of like we said, obviously big liquidations yesterday. So the highest liquidations that we'd seen since the last range lows. And then before that, okay, these were those big, like, that's when we went from a trend, a very clear uptrend, and then we had those mass liquidations afterwards. Since that point, okay, open interest is cooling, which is good. It hasn't like dumped completely, but it's cooling. And I think this just goes to the fact that throughout a lot of this move, people have just been getting chopped up on these small moves, and it just means that a lot of this is not so much, there's not really opportunities, like you take a short, get stopped, take a long, get stopped. There's like both sides are getting kind of consistently wrecked throughout this whole range, which has left it to not being a whole lot going on. If you compare the net longs and net shorts, yes, okay, there's been a big increase in net shorts, but I don't really look into this. I'm not considering this to be trap traders. Okay, we are in a the time we're in right now within the market is basically you and I are the only people crazy enough now to still be trading this, right? If you've been trading memes, you're wrecked. You've probably lost all your money and you're not in the market anymore. If you're trading altcoins, you're wrecked. You probably lost your money and you're not in the market anymore. If you're trading Bitcoin, from a day trading perspective, it's been slim pickings for opportunities, and it's been quite hard to get into trades with any like real conviction. So for myself, at the very least, and for probably a lot of people watching, not from like getting wrecked and being out of the market, because that hasn't been the case. We're still just trading a range, but more just being bored of this price action. It's just boring. So in my case, I've just been bored. And what we have seen is that we've seen, because of that, open interest remains relatively consistent because all the volume is just exchanges. And that's what we're seeing. Like this increase in net shorts that we get down at the bottom of the range is just because the exchange was selling and selling and selling at market, like to basically create these moves, and to just grab liquidity and to take out some of these higher time frame traders in order to get them out of the market before potentially a reversal back to the upside. Or, right, we're looking at this as being a real major shift here where it just goes completely back into the control of the market makers, and we're not going to see retail for yeah, for quite a long time. Right. So I think that's kind of what we're looking for right now, is we've seen this as being just a move that's just taken a lot of retail out of the market. Some other charts, we still have that spot premium, but like I've said, every time that we've had this, that can carry on for a long time. It does eventually lead to higher prices, and it has done previously. But we have seen previously that, like, you started a spot premium back here, and you dropped another like 15% or something, and it's a similar situation. You started a spot premium back here, and we've dropped another 15% or something. So not too much to be said about that. Anything else? A lot of green. Okay, altcoins have been doing quite well. I'm not going to cover on these charts. There was some other stuff that I could have started talking about, but yeah, I think I'll wrap it up there. And I'll go back over here. Is there anything final that we need to discuss? Let's just have one quick look at where we are. So yeah, we're still just caught within this range, and I think for myself, if there is to be a move up towards 62, I would start to target short positions once again there. If we lose daily open, I would probably even short that to take out these lows. So that's how critical that is. If we see weakness that comes down here, at that stage, I look to get more aggressive on shorts, and it's looking really, really nasty. So you don't want to see a situation where we come back down to that daily open again. Let's see if this can float up, maybe catch a short from here, maybe take it back down again around here. Or if there is to be a long, there's not much opportunity to long right now. That's what I can say. Monthly level, if we were there still, with an invalidation, if you lose daily open, would make sense. But we still wait for a sign of strength. We've not seen that, so it can still just be short tips. All right. Then if we see a sign of strength, then we have more confidence in those longs. But we're quite a long way off of that right now. So this being bare minimum for a bounce again. Like every time we've had a bounce, it's been like bare minimum, and you retrace it, and it's all the way back down again. So almost 40 minutes of Bitcoin update. But I am going to say goodbye there. I think I've covered enough, and I'm going to continue on with the stream. So if you are watching this as a video, I do live stream every single morning, and we're going to go over a ton more stuff in a minute, and we're going to take questions and everything. So do get involved with that. If you are interested in learning more about any of the stuff that I've been talking about, go and check out toruscrypto.com, where you can join our trading community. Do check out the links in the description below if you would like to support the channel. And yeah, I will leave it at that. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye. Oh my God. I'm going to start uploading this straight away. And we'll add a bit of background music back into the chat. Okay. I want a really bearish thumbnail. What's a good bearish meme or bearish image that I can use for a bearish thumbnail for this video? I look at the last videos I made and we got all these nice green thumbnails. This was gonna have to be very, very red. Let's find one. And I'll keep an eye on the chat. So if you are here in the chat, whoa. Actually, I can change the thumbnail later. I'm looking through some of my old thumbnails. I see ones from like Bitcoin loses 20k support. Wow. And then I'm looking at one from earlier in the year that was like a real nice, super bullish thumbnail. And and it was like, Bitcoin 50k, wow, this is amazing. And now we're at 60k and we feel like it's all over. Okay, reuse this thumbnail, this will be fine. Public. Let's look on X. Good morning to those of you watching on X. Yummy Gummy. Satoshi Guacamole. If you're watching this on X, make sure you give me a follow. Do that. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to upload this. And then we're uploading this one. Probably do a little thingy over there. Is that a good title? I don't know. It'll do. What else is going on crypto Twitter this morning? Fear and greed. Is it still neutral? Shit. Is fear and greed still neutral? That's easy. Oh man, I hate this. Fuck that hot tour thing. Like, it's funny once. And this is the problem that the entire world has, right? Something's funny and then it gets milked to the point in which it just becomes annoying. Like meme coins and like crypto. It's good and now it's just being milked to the point at which it's annoying, and that's why I've been so very, very bearish lately. Anything else interesting happening in the world of crypto Twitter? What the fuck? Why am I looking at Liverpool? How's your portfolio doing since the beginning of the year? I'm gonna say down. Just because. No, if you can look at the beginning of the year, my portfolio is up a lot. Anyway, right, let's go back over onto this. And what's going on in the chat? Just need to post these things because I didn't have a chance to yesterday. So if you've missed the Bitcoin update, then you can go over onto YouTube or onto X and watch that once it has uploaded. April says a little alpha tip for Soul airdrop people if like counts go up only. Hey, how many likes are we on? It's not good, guys. We're only on 41 likes. Where's all the likes gone? Let's get some more. Weekly OB at 52 looks decent. I'll buy if I get the chance. Yes. So I think there's a lot of zooming out that we got to do. Yeah, to see where things are. Let's move it. Did anyone take the long off of the monthly? I know it happened like basically after we started this stream, but the long off of the monthly would have been the one to go for, because that is just look at the price action that's around it. It was the support, okay? You lose it, right? Your back does it. Is resistance. It's resistance. It's resistance. You impulse through it into the daily level, back test it here, and then we're looking for higher prices. So did anyone go for a little long of that before I started the stream? That was the chance. Anything lower, there's no longs here. That is the one. That is it. That is it. You lose this monthly, you lose daily open, we're going back down to the lows. So yeah, let's look at the weekly OB on 50k. So it is here, and you have to look at that as a possibility, right? So the confluence that we have with that is it's the yearly value area low. Right, so I've drawn a fixed range. What's this? What's this here? What's this level here for? I have no idea. Anyway, there's your yearly open at 42. Go back onto the weekly. This volume profile is from the year so far. Okay. So the problem we've got now is we're into an area of very low volume. Okay, we're back in this low volume node. But we have value area low, 52k down there, the yearly value area low, and we do have this weekly OB. This is a decent little bounce we're getting from Bitcoin again though. So let's see if we can attempt to push through this daily level. Push through this daily level again, maybe. Yeah, it's there. Let's focus on the 60Ks for now. We're still level to level, of course, through this. But if 56.5 is lost, the previous lows, then yes, 52k is the next level down that you would be looking at. Unless there's some like just SFP after those lows, which would be, of course, a possibility as well. Check the BLX. Wait. Let's have a look. Is there anything else? Not wrecked here. Sold tops with preschool TA. Nice one, April. Nice one. Check BLX quarterly chart on log. Forgetting it's BTC and we're in a bull market. It looks like SFP and needs aggressive correction. Right. Let's go BLX quarterly. What were you saying? It looks like an SFP. I mean, it's not for a start. Because you close above it. I mean, that was an SFP. Bang. As was that. This quite clearly is not. And we have 5 days left. 5 days left to recover this. Yeah. If you're looking on the quarterly, you'd say, where are we at? It's almost a 50% retrace of the previous quarterly. So if that's not corrective enough, then I don't know what is. And that's a big correction, unless you're looking at bear market, which is essentially what this would be. Like to retrace 50% of a prior candle that was a breakout candle, to then come back in 50% of it, close above 50%. You close above 50%, it's still cool. I'd say at this stage you close above here, like that's your quarterly level. That's the quarterly level to be aware of, right? So unless we're closing a quarterly down there, I'll do this as a M and then make it a Q. That is your high time frame level from the quarterly. Look on log. I don't need to look on log because the levels are the same, but yeah, let's put it onto log. Like, what about it? I'm trying to, let me just see. Let me get rid of some of this. Like, okay, I see what you're saying, and this is the first time you've had a close above a previous quarterly candle, right? That's then had a retrace afterwards. That hasn't got continuation. So I see what you're saying with that. But then you look at this, like, you hold that quarterly level of support. Like, how is that bad? Now, what you also have to remember is we had... So... What are these marked off of? I don't know what these lines are. They're not... No, they're not halvings. Are they halvings? July, maybe halvings. Yeah, I think for quarterlies, you've got to look at candle closes, haven't you? You can't look at wicks because the wick's the same no matter what. Like, the wick will be the same even if you're looking on a 1 minute time frame. So why does it matter that you took out a wick high on a quarterly candle that was a really bad candle in the first place? So I don't think that's significant. I think as long as, if you're looking from the quarterly, as long as you're holding above that, that's a quarterly level, right? Obviously a monthly level and so on as well, but that's a quarterly level. None of these wicks can be considered levels on this particular time frame, because there is no time frame associated with a wick. All right, that's not where traders settle up from a wick. They settle up on a close. So yeah, trend line maybe. I don't see a trend line on here either. Nice. Look. If you're looking at quarterly, you're holding above a quarterly level, and we got 5 days to go with this. It's a back test of the highest ever quarterly close on Bitcoin. After you closed above previous all-time highs on the previous quarter, you then are consolidating. So we'll see how this goes. I mean, that's something useful to note. If in 5 days' time we end up seeing that there is a candle close below 58,800, then you're looking at 38k again. Which isn't great, is it? But yeah, yeah. Then look at this as well, the monthly. What we've done previously is we're just ranging. Okay, this does not. There's nothing about the high time frame chart that looks bearish to me. Okay, you're still holding support as support, right? Now it's a different story if you get closes beneath. A very, very different story, but you're still holding support as support for now. And if you stop holding support as support, then we're looking at a move down. I'd say then it gets really bearish, because I wouldn't necessarily be looking at support at 52 or 48. I probably would be looking at 32, 36. Because you've tested this zone. You've tested beneath it already. Then it's bull market's over. You get close below there, we're done. It's all speculative though, it's just opinions. You just form your opinions based on what you see on the chart. So if you do not share the same opinion to myself, then that is absolutely fine. Get out of here. My channel, my opinion counts. You guys are here for my opinion, not yours. Lucifer is in the house. Shout out to all the unemployed brothers and sisters in the chat. Yeah. Hey, I feel you there, mate. I am as This is the yeah. I do this every day, and I feel like completely unemployed as well. Hey, at least we can trade. At least we can trade to try and make some money, because nothing else does. Because the market is so bad, and like investments aren't making us anything right now. Come on, guys, give some likes. He's a small channel, he deserves it with the content giving you. Yes. I mean, hopefully, this is the thing, right? And you guys have a real massive part to play on this. Like, we're not going to go anywhere without community. Like, this channel has been going for 3 years. And, like, I believe we share a lot of good value within this channel. and a lot of good ideas, certainly a lot more than a lot of the bigger channels. But the reason they're big is they have a community that gets behind that channel. So we need activity in the chat, because I'm here talking non-stop. I can't do any more. And if we don't get activity within the chat, and if we don't get likes, we're never going to get anywhere. And it's not easy when you do this every day and like hardly anyone watches. It's not easy. It kind of sucks. You get burnt out real quick. So I do hope as a community we can help to push this a little bit more. We've been doing okay this year. We need the market to pick back up again. It helps when the market's good. We went from like 10k to 20k subscribers within the space of 3 months. Through that like October to from like November to February, we went from 10k to 20k. But now it's just super slow again. And at one stage we were getting like 300 viewers, concurrent viewers on a stream. Now we're down at 54. And no one's trading. No one's trading. This is the other thing. Like we did this sweepstake for the Euros, thinking it would be a fun thing to do with the community. No one who applied has traded. So that's just going to cost me a load of money. Like literally, no one's trading this. I am. I'm still taking trades, but no one. I say that as in like very few people. Not no one as in not a single person, but no one's trading this right now. I think the number of likes is inversely proportional to the value transmitted. I wish that wasn't the case, guys. I'm literally not referring to any other channels in general or anything like that. Like I've never watched crypto banter ever. Never seen anything. I've seen content from who's the young guy? The younger guy who's not a complete dickhead. Like that Ran guy is just an idiot, right? It's just a complete idiot. But there's the other guy who's decent. Miles. His stuff's actually really good. His stuff's really good. I've watched some of his videos, and actually there's a lot of alpha there. And for a big channel, like his stuff's really good. So there are some good big channels. Like he feels like someone that puts in the time. Whether he has a team behind him and tells him what to do, then yeah. Gummy. Yeah, what's the chart doing for Gummy? When we were at the token 2049, right? So we were in Dubai, and they launched Gummy on BitGet. No, they launched Gummy on oh my god. Who's Kyle? I don't know a Kyle. Yeah, look, but this is the thing. Like this. I mean, you could have launched the best token in the world, and you'd still be down because that's the way the market's been. All right, how far from a liquid high is this down? Ah, right. Okay, that's not very good, is it? How high from your initial, say, range that you launched at is it down? Yeah, it's not very good. It's not a good look, is it? If you launch a token and it's down there, not very good at all. Like you look at other stuff. Kyle from Banter, I don't know who that is. I did not know there was anyone called Kyle. I know that there's Ran, and I think that Miles guy is part of Crypto Banter, or he's on it sometimes, but I don't know. Bad market equals less viewers. Yeah. What I'll do? Ooh, Bitcoin's moving. Hey, up. Where'd that come from? What's this? What? Has Ethereum just had an ETF announcement or something? What's going on here? I mean, it looks crazy because I'm watching it on Aggro. What's going on here then? What's happening? Or is it just a case of everything looks big because we had such a massive dump yesterday, so any little bounce looks interesting? Yeah, I guess this isn't being sustained. What happened? Does anyone know? Refresh. I don't know why I'm looking for news. It's a tiny little candle. It seems exciting because it's something happening when I'm on a live stream, but it's literally it's nothing, is it? Look, there's me. Wouldn't it be funny if there was some kind of ETF announcement going? Should we look at some alts and things? We'll zoom out. I know. It's not much, but it is. Hey, it's the biggest 1 minute candle we've had since yesterday. Since the lows. And can we look at some crypto stocks? Yeah, I mean, there's maybe some alpha to be had in that because the crypto stocks have been looking pretty good. They've been making more money than crypto itself. Yeah, I mean, Coinbase not so much, but there's Marathon. This one. Oh. I've been interested in this. What ones have been doing well? Marathon's one that I'm watching. I have not participated. I have not partaken in any buying of Marathon, but that is one. What else is a crypto stock? I need to do like a crypto stocks list. Do you guys know tickers? I'm gonna make a list. Do I make a list just here or do I make a new list? Tickers. Tickers, not names. Tickers. Crypto stonks. Because if I do this, we've obviously got coin. Add that bad boy. We've got Mara. Add that guy. Got MicroStrategy. Add that guy. PLSK. Clean Spark. What's Hive? Is Hive the mining? Hive Digital Technologies. Riot Blockchain. Yes. Yes. What else is there? Hey, this move is still going. Lows in, guys. Bitcoin's breaking out. We're back to the daily level. All right, let's see if we get this SFP off of this high. Or are we just going to reject off of the daily again? Hood. Oh, yeah, of course. Hood will end up being a crypto stock. Hood. I mean, it's not really a crypto stock, but yeah, fine. Her. Hut 8. What the hell is that? Hut 8 Corp. Never heard of that. That daily level. Little bitch. Actually, yeah, I mean, this, you could short this 1 minute time frame, scalp short, easy. Because you've also got, you had that gap down, and you could basically short this with like an invalidation. You could have just damn, you could have just shorted like that, and you could be looking for this all the way back down there. See if it breaks, but actually that kind of worked. If you wanted to take a super just low risk scalp, it was there, and you'll probably be taking profit off of it. You probably would have taken profit here. You're going real low time frames, so you would have gone there to there. Hopefully this breaks out and you just take out this high. It's possible for a scalp. Who remembers the banter stream from 421 when they had Alien Worlds PR lady on the show promoting the coin while actively selling it during the live and accidentally showing their screen? That's crazy. Have they been around since 2021? That's mad. That's mad. What could we I'd quite like the thing is there's so much. I'm going to start bringing more guests on to do streams. I know I keep saying it, but the market's so dead right now. No one really wants to do anything. Or be a guest on more channels. I don't know. I need something that makes this like interesting again. Like I like streaming, but need something like get some energy again. Need the energy, even when the markets are quiet. Giving us long subs makes it interesting. Yeah. I mean, actually, the altcoins have been pretty decent lately. I'm not really underwater in any longs. I've been stopped in a few, but anyway, let's what are these crypto stonks saying? So coin. Coin, I end up like, oh my god, it's been that long since I bought and it's not really done anything. Wow. I remember I took this trade last year on coin and it just front ran my take profit and I was waiting for ages for it to come back. But this is why I don't think you can be bearish crypto at all. Because you've had, even on coin, you've had a long accumulation. You obviously had when it launched in March, the top of the last bull run. But I think you're looking pretty good with a lot of these crypto stocks, just as starting new market cycles. CLSK looks nice. Clean Spark. Hive. Hive, you gotta wait for this to break a little bit. What? Riot, yikes. Hood's Hood, Robin Hood's. Yeah, okay. There's some interesting stuff over there with crypto stocks. Nothing too exciting going on. Max leverage live trading with some banging music. I couldn't do that. As much as I'd love to, unless there's an exchange willing to give me unlimited money. I'm way too risk averse to be a Sato kind of guy. Way too risk averse. I'm gonna go for a little pee-pee. Back in a minute. Oh, that would be a take profit on the short. I'm also going to take a seated position. And relax. Did you pee in the sink way too fast to be asleep? I don't sit down to pee. I'm not that old. I'm not got to that stage yet. I don't need to sit to pee. I'm not a girl and I'm not old. Like, I have a toilet that's like just there. I don't care. I'm all for talking about toilet etiquette on the live stream. Or toilet activity. Life of a trader, yes. I mean, I have a bed back there, I have a toilet over there. I have a big old computer screen here. And then downstairs is kitchen and chill area and stuff. Can you do a full trade breakdown on Brett? Yes. Sell Brett, make money, right? No, not right. I'd rather not do a full trade breakdown on Brett. Thoughts on Total 3? That's a better question. That's a better question. Right, where are we on Total 3? I don't mind where Total 3's at all. The weekly. So look, this is marked from the October basically start of this bull run. You can't take a trade off Total 3, no, but you can get an idea of where the market, you can get a sense of where the market is at from Total 3. There is nothing bad about that chart right now. I mean, if you ran it below that anchored VWAP for a week or two, it'd be cool. But essentially, you flip this, right? You still just, there's no like real acceptance back within it. Yeah, I mean, Total 3 looks great. Like if you could play this, I mean, essentially you'd be looking at something like this. I mean, even if you're real conservative on it, I wouldn't need to be real conservative on it. I'd take it to here. Yeah, Total 3 looks fine. Like, it looks really good. Looks really good. Where are we at, like daily AMAs and stuff? Right on there. So if we look at where, done this previously, right? Holding this VWAP. Yeah, I quite like it. Total 2. Okay. Total doesn't look quite as good, but then of course Bitcoin's been a bad boy recently, so yeah. Can't wait to offload Doge. I'll never touch the pupper ever again. No, Doge is going to be fine, guys. Just you wait and see. The moment you sell Doge is the moment it starts to rip. Doge forever. I like Dogecoin here. So, where's the Doge chart that I've been charting? Yes. You're looking for 36 cents on Doge to offload. I'll be very happy with that. I'll make a good ton of money if it goes like that. Yeah, I don't see Doge as being bearish. So it's a similar kind of situation to what the total market caps are doing, right? You've broken out from a long consolidation, yeah, and you're now holding it again as support. We had this like real interesting monthly level. It was like a wickless monthly that's just been taken out. And again, as long as you're holding that, then it's okay. I think we can see a rotation back higher again. So, I mean, invalidation for if you're long on Doge will be losing that monthly. I mean, essentially, if you're closing back below like 0.115, 0.116, if you close this monthly down here, the more downside, but yeah. The weekly candle was looking good. ZK, Luke, I am a DJ. Could you create me a playlist that I can use for a live stream that will not copyright strike my channel? Please, Mr. DJ. I'm a DJ. I'm a D-gen. We're all DJs. I'm a D-gen Jeet. Degenerate Jeets. Check S&P 500. Okay. Do I have to? DXY. Ace Melter. Like, it's a melt up. There's like nothing more you can say about S&P. Like, it's fucking bullish. Just insanely bullish. S&P 500 are on their local. You don't know how far. This is the thing. You don't know how far these are going to extend. Like, this shit can keep going, right? It's, yeah, you broke the 20s on the NQ. Naturally, you're going to see a bit of a pullback. That's like Bitcoin hitting 100K, right? If Bitcoin hits 100K, you're not going to start calling for like this to go and say, yes, you'd expect a correction from that, in the same way that we're seeing a correction after breaking all-time highs. But 20K on the NQs, I mean, in a way, like 5K was that on the S&P. Now we're at 5,600. Like, oh, roaring 20s. Expect 29. We're early. 1929 to 2029. 2033. It kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's looking a long way into the future. But like, you can't say. You see a chart like that and just, I just don't get why. Yeah, like, obviously at some stage, because we're quite clearly, and I've said this before, right? We're going through a bubble that's as big as the dot-com bubble, but we're nowhere near bubbling on it yet. Yeah. It is going to be a bubble, and I think I'd say within the next few years there's going to be just terrible conditions. Like, when this bubble actually tops, then you get bearish, but there's no euphoria over the stock market, really. In the States, I'd say they're maybe starting to get a lot of attention. But yeah, not that much, because you think of like the likes of Nvidia, like a lot of this move's been Nvidia, and we're not like going in. We're kind of getting to maybe starting some kind of mania phase within the stock market, and maybe Bitcoin will play catch up with that soon. Maybe just starting, because okay, we had that like Roaring Kitty came back, and I think that was just starting this final like run, but it can last for a year or so from here. There's still so much money on the sidelines. So let's look at what are all the IPOs due in Q3. It's when you start getting like 100 companies IPOing every day. That's when the market's going to top, and you get all these new. When people start talking on streams about new AI companies and stuff like that. Companies to IPO. I found a nice to IPO 2024. Let's see. So we've got there's a bunch of stuff. I'm just trying to find some I'm on the wrong web page. But we're looking at like a load of shit, a load of stuff coming out, basically. I can't find it. It was a really interesting website that gave a list of all the companies that are waiting to IPO this year. All right, what else is there? If chip manufacturing comes to the USA and we start to mine our mineral resource, I can say I'm bullish on chip manufacturing. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, you're going to go through that stage, and you're going to go through the stage where where demand starts to outstrip supply, right? Let's just throw the DXY chart up, and I'll have a look at that in a moment. So if you think about the macro, like there's still, and companies say this all the time, like I think just something else like Dell is looking really interesting here, and you're starting to get these companies have some real big moves as well based off of everything, but there's still such a shortage on ignore this is just something I drew on the past stream. I'll look at it more clearly in a minute, but there's what am I trying to say on with this bubble. So the whole like AI bubble, I don't see it basically bubbling up and collapsing until we start to see the demand for AI becomes higher than the supply for the AI becomes higher than the demand. Right now, there's huge bottlenecks within the technology that's available in just there's a lack of chips, there's a lack of GPUs, there's a lack of computing power across the board. So you're not going to top, the markets aren't going to top when there's still so much more demand than there is for supply for this stuff and for these companies, right? When that starts to flip, then I think things can start to look real bad. And of course, at some stage they will. At some stage there'll be enough computing power, there'll be enough, because yeah, maybe manufacturing goes towards the US and all of that kind of thing. But I think we're quite a long way away from that still. Like another year or so before things start to look like they get really too like heated and too crazy. Whimsy, it's fine. So yeah, I'm not concerned about the overall like tech market yet. I think give it a year, then it's going to start looking really bad. But also, I think you've got to look at like crypto AI stuff is going to do really well out of this. There's no way that it's not going to benefit, and there's no way that you can be bearish over the next year with what's going on. This being the biggest technological revolution we've had in decades, essentially, yeah? Like we've been, for most of our lives, or most of our lives as like people that actually have brains, not little kids, because there's not a lot of us that are really old here. But for most of our lives, everything's been more or less the same, right? It's okay. You look back to, of course, there's improvements and everything, but everything's been more or less the same. The internet has improved, but it's the same technology. It's just improving on that layer, But it's reached, like, there's so many things that have reached a peak, and we are going through another technological revolution that I think is going to massively change that. But it's not bubbling yet. It will do, but not yet. Okay, DXY. Okay, let's look at the chart. I drew this arrow on there, and I had that as an idea, as a bit of a target. I've not got much to say. Like, you'd say this structure would make you believe that there's a bit of upside to come. In which case, you'd be looking at 110. Because you got space up here. But on the other hand, like, I mean, it's the DXY, so would that be bearish short term for stocks and crypto if there was to be a move up towards 108, 110? I don't necessarily think so, because 2021, these second stage bull markets are often stocks, dollar, crypto running together, and that has happened previously. But maybe short term you're looking at a move up here on the XY, but I don't know. Then you're looking back down. It could just as easily start to roll over here, though. Like I don't really see anything on this chart that's particularly interesting. You've got this gap that's up here. So 108 to 110 looks interesting if there is to be a move higher. But for when I've drawn this on the lower time frames, okay, we can see we rejected from that gap on the daily there. You can see that locally, right, you've come and you've taken internal liquidity, the last internal liquidity that's there, and you're starting to reject off of that. Yeah, like we're essentially at range highs for this range that it's been in. Yes, okay, you've got this rounded bottom going on that you could maybe expect a move up before you get a move down. But if you're looking at that as maybe a bit of a deviation and that being the top of the dollar, then yeah, I'd say, okay, if it comes up here, then I'd look to, I think that at that point, if there was to be a move to 108 to 110, you'd then look at that getting a rejection off of the dollar, and then you're looking at risk assets doing really well. But yeah, it could just as easily start breaking down from this as well. Yeah. Not a whole, yeah. If it goes high, you got a yearly level of 116. Can't read too much into it. Not too much. AZTV, crypto AI is a meme like crypto gaming. I don't believe crypto AI is a meme. I do think that a lot of the startups that are in AI, and there's going to be millions of them that start coming out because we're going into a bubble. There will be tons of them that start coming out, start to compete and start to innovate. I'd imagine they start turning to the collective processing power of crypto, rather than the centralized processing power of having to buy a bunch of GPUs. Right? If you're a startup and you're an AI startup, why would you choose to, if you need that much computing power, yeah, and look at these factories that Elon's building with like huge factories full of computers just for XAI. All right, startups aren't going to be able to do that. They're not going to be able to fill warehouses full of GPUs. There's not the enough of them out there, right? But there are working models out there for the rental and the sharing of GPU power throughout the ecosystem. My GPU is being used right now. Yeah. My GPU is being used right now, but as to process AI stuff. If you've got a node that's running Aether, Render, Bit Sensor, gaming, these kind of things, you can now earn by renting GPU power, basically, which I think is what a lot of companies are going to turn to. There's certain sectors within crypto that I do think are bullshit. But the application of tokenization and with what Ethereum did and so on, it worked. Okay. If there's one application that crypto is going to work for, it's computing power, right? Decentralized computing power. If there's one thing that as the next level of crypto that's going to actually get adoption, it's going to be the computing power that exists within the ecosystem already, and the technology is already there. So you've gone from tokenization, where it's like a unit of store of value, unit of like transaction, and you turn that into, you just build upon that, and that becomes the next layer. Like I'm not bullish on crypto games. I think crypto gaming is mainly bullshit. I'm not bullish on real world assets. I don't think you're going to find that you rent, or it's not going to take off. I don't think you find that like you buy houses or buy watches and that kind of thing on the blockchain. That's the old thing. But computing power, sure. And yes, yeah, after one cycle pump, there's no reason for a coin to pump again. You even said that yourself. The VCs and the devs all made their money. The coin is done after that, absolutely. But these things haven't had a cycle yet. Right? I'd say render maybe has. But it's not been a particularly big cycle. I'd say the only thing that you could... No, this hasn't had a cycle. It's not. That's not. I wouldn't say that that's a complete like market cycle. Maybe. Okay, maybe render has. Yeah. But that's one thing that I do think that there's a genuine possibility for, and I think that could start becoming interesting. I remember owning one of the first mobile phones that had a carry handle and could be used as a deadly weapon. Wow. Could have been a CAS valve 36, but didn't jump in. After one cycle pump, there's no reason, blah, blah, blah. Just looking at the chat. Poct is trying that commerce idea of credit card purchase through multiple chain, but I don't think it will pop until next cycle and the tech evolves better. Yeah, I mean, there's certain things like we're clearly not done. Like, there's no reason to be. All right, we're going through a bit of a tough time within crypto. Sentiment's bad, and I think there's a lot of problems. Okay, but the cream will rise. It's just about finding the stuff that's half decent. And I think a lot of the healing has taken place. Like, I'm more bullish now than I was 2 weeks ago. I'd say. I'm more positive now than I was 2 weeks ago because we've seen an improvement in, like, a lot of the stuff that was going to die is dying, and that's good, yeah? It's a good thing. I welcome this kind of stuff. Like, I welcome with open arms big dumps like this. Right? And if we go down to 52, fuck, that's going to be so good. So good for the space as a whole. Because low prices is where things are that's where the opportunity is. Right? We don't need price going up doesn't help anyone generally speaking, right? All it does, I bet the majority of people here, myself included, made more money through these little bear market phases than had a recovery out of that, and you were putting the work in when things were looking really bad. I bet you made tons more money in October and November than you have done up in this range when prices are high. So why do you want prices to keep going higher? You want prices to be fucked and wrecked. Like, that's where the opportunity lies. Yeah, it's more fun when prices are going up. But if you're not positioned to make the most of it, then All these ranges do is they get people greedy and they're like, oh my god, I'm not going to have an opportunity to buy lower. So then they buy high and then it dumps and they're wrecked. Like, send it all lower. I'd love it. Like, just dump it. Like, if we go to 32k, amazing. Amazing. I don't think it's likely. But I mean, if we go through a bear market now, I'm all for that. Like, I don't hold spot Bitcoin. I do not care. I trade it. I do not care what the price is. I hold some spot alts, but I've essentially written them off now. I took my profit from them on the way up. I have bags left and they're down like 70, 80%. If they come back, they come back, but I've already made my money from them. I've not really... I don't have new bags of crypto. Like, I'm not accumulating much. I have a few trades open. And they're trades that I've taken because I've seen some strength in the chart short term. So Render being one of them, Tau being another one. And I will trade these altcoins all day, every day. Arkham looks really, really good. But I think I'm over holding any of this shit. Maybe like a small basket of stuff that I would like just to see how it goes and see if I can hit that. But it's a very, very small percentage of my portfolio. AVAX touched me in places I don't want to talk about. Hey, AVAX killed a lot of people. Wrecked a lot of people. Right. Anything else to look at? Solana's having a decent bounce. I might wrap the stream up soon. There's some very, very, very good altcoin charts right now. Okay, yeah, chat's gone quiet. I'm here just talking to like 3 people now. So I'm going to call it there. I'm going to wrap this one up. And yeah. Have a great day, everybody. Trade well. I will see you again very, very soon. And yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. Have a great day. Trade well. Trade safe. Let's hope everything pumps. Wait, why are you saying... No, wait. BG. Last chance. I'm going to 10 seconds. You know what?